South Africa is expected to become one of the few countries to introduce a remote working visa and critical skills visa. Now, this is popularly known as the digital nomad visa. Many people are using technology to work remotely outside their home country. Joining us to tell us how this new visa model will impact on local coders is Mvelo Hlophe, who's the CEO of Zaio. Mvelo, pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Firstly, tell us, how do you perceive the potential impact of South Africa's digital nomad visa on the local coding community, particularly in terms of opportunities and the challenges that lie therein?
So, in an effort to boost our economy, our government has set out to roll this digital nomad visa. I think some of the implications on the local talent would really include, these people come from other countries with stronger currency. So they'd be able to earn in dollars, they'd be able to earn in euros and, have basically more money to spend. And then when they come into South Africa, they, increase rent prices, they increase the cost of living, which means that a lot of the local talent gets displaced, and then their quality of life then decreases.
Could you elaborate a bit further on what you're saying, especially on the specific concerns regarding talent retention among local coders? Of course, this in light of the potential influx of these digital nomads with a higher earning capacity. How might this dynamic affect the local tech ecosystem?
So because local talent, works in certain facilities closer to work, right? So the rent prices in those areas would then increase as we get an influx of people that can spend a lot more than they do. So that means now your commute, if it was, let's say 5, 10, 15 minutes, then increases to 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because you now live further away from your place of work. This then means that individuals that now see that the commute is a lot longer might want to start seeking opportunities even outside of South Africa and no longer wanting to work for local companies, which makes it then difficult for these local companies to retain the talent.
So in your opinion, what role do local companies play in retaining coding talent amidst this changing landscape which is brought about by the digital nomad visa? And also in extension to this question, how can they adapt their approaches to actually attract and retain skilled professionals?
I think local companies really need to look at the packages that they offer to local talent. They might not be able to compete from a financial perspective, but there are other ways where there's added benefits to, let's say, the payment package or the compensation package that the individual is receiving. They might also want to consider things like investing in the talent. So if a local talent feels as if the company is investing in them, either through online training and other means that they can invest in the individual, that person will feel a sense of belonging in that company and want to actually work for the local company.
So, Mvelo, let's discuss collaboration. It is often highlighted as essential for navigating also the impacts of the digital nomad visa. Can you share specific examples or even initiatives that really encourage collaboration within the local coding community and how these efforts contribute to the overall resilience of the tech industry?
So we've seen quite a few innovation hubs where they leverage talent as well as knowledge from other parts of the world. Let's say Europe, for example. There'll be, Netherlands, South Africa initiative. There'll be a Europe, South Africa initiatives where there's a shared knowledge and shared expertise process. So if we could emulate something like that for these digital nomads as they arrive in South Africa, where their spirit of entrepreneurship, their spirit of innovation can be leveraged by local talent, that would allow then a collaboration between the two pools of talent.
So the proposed regulations for the digital nomad visa really aim to position South Africa as a leading destination for remote workers, if you will. How do you envision this initiative really shaping the future of South Africa's tech landscape, both in terms of opportunities and the challenges that lie therein?
I think from an opportunities perspective, it's really shared knowledge, shared innovation projects. So a lot of things that South Africans find really difficult around building specifically businesses in the tech space is that there isn't enough capital. So when individuals that are from other parts of the world come in with their networks that exist outside of the country, they could then help local talent attract that capital. I think from a challenges perspective, it's really figuring out the nuances between how we do business, how they do business, and how we can then collaborate based on that. I mean, we've already spoken about what are the immediate implications or the implications that we've seen already around, cost of living. But I think if the conversation around how we collaborate to better our innovation as well as our solutions on the country as well as the continent, then we could have a way forward.
So some argue that they are positive spin-offs, and the potential economic advantages of welcoming digital nomads are quite substantial. But there are challenges, like we've highlighted, in really navigating existing regulatory frameworks. What steps do you believe, Mvelo, are necessary to really address these challenges, but also ensure a smooth implementation of this digital nomad visa?
I mean, we need to look at how do we protect local talents? How do we avoid them being displaced from where they currently are? So if we start looking at how we bring about a fair as well as transparent tax policy around these digital nomads, I think that would be a really good step where we're now making the playing field a lot more equal so that local talent doesn't feel like it's left out. These need to be dialogues that need to be had around the policymakers, around bodies that may even represent the digital nomads, so that we can come with the best solution to not get local talent displaced.
So looking ahead, what do you see as the long-term implication of the digital nomad visa for the local coding community, but also South Africa's tech industry as a whole? I guess to simplify the question, how can stakeholders really collaborate to maximize the benefits and mitigate any negative consequences?
So open dialogue is always the best way to do it, right? When stakeholders can actually sit around and form policy that helps everyone that's actually involved in the entire process. I think in the long term, we will obviously get economic benefits as a country as a whole. But I think from the local talent, what they will be gaining is knowledge that doesn't currently exist in South Africa. They'll be getting access to networks that they otherwise wouldn't be able to get had they not had these people come into the country. And overall, the opportunity to collaborate with these digital nomads is something that I think a local talent should really be excited about.